The screech of brakes yanked me from my half-doze, and before I could blink, a woman's voice sliced through the humid New York air like a rusty knife. "Move it, Fairy. This seat's mine." Her eyes, narrowed under a frizzy perm, locked on the rainbow pin glinting on my backpack, and in that split second, the whole bus held its breath, waiting for me to shatter or stand. I didn't shatter. Instead, I felt that familiar fire ignite in my chest, the one that had carried me through too many closets and too few apologies. And I met her gaze with a smile that said I'd seen worse than her in the mirror on my darkest days. "Ma'am," I replied, my voice steady as the Hudson on a calm morning. "This ain't about seats. It's about the space we leave for each other in this city of strangers." As the bus lurched forward again, her words hung like exhaust fumes, choking the aisle, but something in her flinch told me this ride was just beginning, and it would take us both places we never planned to go. That morning started like any other in the relentless grind of Brooklyn, where the summer heat clings to your skin like an unwanted ex, and the Q train's delays make you question every life choice that led you here. I'm Alex Rivera, 28, a graphic designer scraping by in a one-bedroom walk-up in Bushwick, the kind of place where the walls are thin enough to hear your neighbor's dreams and regrets in equal measure. I'd woken up to the buzz of my alarm at 6 a.m., the faint scent of last night's takeout lo mein still lingering from the night before. Coffee in a chipped mug, a quick scroll through Instagram feeds full of filtered perfection, and I was out the door, backpack slung over one shoulder, heading to my freelance gig at a midtown ad agency. The bus was my daily ritual, a rattling old MTA beast that crawled through traffic like it had all the time in the world. I loved it in a masochistic way. It was a microcosm of New York, the harried mom juggling groceries and a toddler, the Wall Street suit buried in his Bloomberg app, the street musician with a guitar case full of loose change, and me, just another queer kid from the suburbs who'd traded Jersey lawns for concrete jungles, chasing a life where I could love without apology. I boarded at the stop near Maria Hernandez Park, the air thick with the smell of fresh empanadas from the bodega on the corner. The bus was half full, seats scattered like forgotten promises. I spotted an empty one near the back, by the window where I could watch the city blur past in streaks of yellow cabs and graffiti-tagged warehouses. Dropping into it, I pulled out my sketchbook, letting the pencil dance across the page, a rough outline of a billboard concept for a client's eco-friendly sneaker line. The rhythm of the wheels on potholes was my muse. Then she got on. Mid-40s, maybe, with a purse clutched like a shield and sensible flats that clicked authoritatively against the floor. She scanned the seats, her lips pursing when she saw mine. I didn't think much of it at first. People get territorial on public transit. It's survival of the fittest in a city of 8 million. But as the bus pulled away from the curb, she made her move. "Excuse me," she said, her voice pitched like a complaint to customer service. I looked up, pencil mid-stroke. She was standing over me, one hand on the pole for balance. "That seat's for seniors. You gonna move or what?" I glanced at the sign above, reserved for elderly, disabled, pregnant. Fair enough, but I wasn't blocking anyone, and the bus wasn't packed. "There's plenty of standing room, ma'am," I said politely, turning back to my sketch. "I'll keep an eye out if someone needs it." Her face twisted, and that's when the venom spilled. "Move it, Fairy. This seat's mine." The word landed like a slap, casual cruelty wrapped in a southern drawl that didn't quite fit the burrow. Heads turned subtly. A kid in headphones pulled one earbud out, curious. The rainbow pin on my bag wasn't hidden. It was my quiet flag, a silver sliver of pride I'd worn since coming out at 22, after years of pretending in high school hallways where gay was the punchline to every joke. Fairy. It echoed in my head, dredging up memories I'd buried under layers of therapy sessions and drag brunches. The boy in 10th grade who'd shoved me into lockers, whispering it like a curse. The uncle at Thanksgiving who'd crossed himself and changed the subject. But here, in 2025 New York, where marriage equality was old news and pride floats choked Midtown every June, it still stung like fresh ink. I closed my sketchbook slowly, buying time as the bus hit a red light on Myrtle Avenue. The fire in my chest wasn't anger, not yet. It was resolve, the kind that comes from knowing you've earned your seat at the table, one hard-won fight at a time. "Ma'am," I said, standing up but not stepping aside, my voice carrying just enough to fill the space between us. This isn't about the seat, it's about respect. And if my pin bothers you that much, maybe the door's the better option for you. The bus went silent, save for the hum of the AC struggling against the heat. She blinked, caught off guard, her cheeks flushing under a layer of drugstore foundation. You think you're special? Prancing around with your lifestyle. This country's going to hell because of people like you. Lifestyle. Another zinger, straight from the Fox News playbook. I could feel eyes on us. The mom shifting her kid closer, the suit pretending to text but listening hard. Part of me wanted to laugh it off, to say something snappy like, "Honey, if my lifestyle's hell, yours must be the devil's green room." But this wasn't a Twitter thread. This was real, raw, and rippling out to everyone watching. Instead, I took a breath, the kind my therapist in Chelsea had taught me. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. Look, I said, softer now, meeting her eyes not with defiance but with something almost like pity. I've got family back home who said the same things to me, hurt me in ways I can't undo. But I learned something. They were scared. Scared of what they didn't understand. So what's scaring you today, really? The traffic? The rent? Or just a guy on a bus trying to get to work? She opened her mouth, closed it. The light turned green, and the bus jerked forward. For a heartbeat, I thought she'd swing that purse like a Louisville slugger. But she didn't. She turned away, gripping the pole tighter, muttering something about kids these days under her breath. I sat back down, heart pounding, sketchbook forgotten in my lap. As we rolled toward the Manhattan Bridge, I replayed it in my head, wondering if I'd won or just poked the bear. Little did I know that bear had claws and a name, Evelyn Hargrove, and our paths were about to tangle in ways that would upend my world. The agency drop-off was uneventful. I pitched my sneaker designs to a room full of nods and loved the vibe post-its, grabbing a falafel wrap from the cart outside for lunch. By afternoon, I was back on the subway, headphones in, blasting Hozier's gravelly gospel about love that takes no prisoners. My phone buzzed, a text from Jamie, my best friend since Pratt Institute days. Heard about your bus showdown via group chat. You okay? Beers tonight. Jamie knew me better than anyone. We'd bonded over shared sketches and secret crushes in art school. Him with his mop of blonde curls and infectious laugh. Me with my endless supply of bad rom-com references. He was the straight one, but he'd held my hand through every queer heartbreak, from the ghoster in college to the boyfriend who bailed when my mom disowned me. Yeah, I texted back. Just another day in paradise. McSorley's, 8. That night, over pints of the light and dark, I spilled the story. Jamie leaned in, foam on his upper lip, eyes wide. Dude, you called her out on her fear? That's next level. Most people would have just moved. I shrugged, tracing the scarred wooden bar with my finger. What else was I gonna do? Let her win? Nah. But it got me thinking, why do we still have to fight for space? Like, pride's been legal for a decade, but one bigot on a bus and it's 1985 all over again. He clinked his glass against mine. Because progress ain't linear, my friend. It's a subway line, full of delays and weirdos. Speaking of, he nodded toward the door, where a guy in a faded Yankees cap was scanning the room, his smile tentative but kind. I followed his gaze. Tall, maybe 6'2", with olive skin and dark hair that fell just so over hazel eyes. He caught me looking and grinned, that slow New York charm that says, I see you, and I'm game. Jamie whispered, go say hi. Your bus karma's gotta balance out somewhere. His name was Luca Moretti, a barista/aspiring playwright from Astoria, Queens. We talked for hours about Scorsese films, the best slice in the city, his vote, Prince Street, and the ache of writing characters who felt too real to let go. By last call, he'd slipped his number into my palm on a torn coaster, his fingers lingering just long enough to spark. That spark? It ignited something I'd forgotten I needed. Hope. The kind that whispers, maybe the city's not just survival, maybe it's home. But home has ghosts, and mine was waiting in the form of a voicemail from my sister, Carla, left while I was out. Alex, call me. Mom's. She's sick, and she wants to see you. The words hit like a pothole at full speed. Mom. The woman who'd burned my coming out letter in the sink, tears streaming as she whispered prayers over the ashes. Sick. The bus incident felt trivial now, a blip in the rearview. I dialed Carla back, the L train rattling beneath me as I headed home. Pancreatic, she said, voice cracking over the line. Stage 3. Docs give her months, maybe. I stopped on the platform, the summer night pressing in. And she wants me? After everything. Pause heavy as fog. She does. Says it's time to make things right. Please, Alex. For me. For her. Always for her. I hung up, staring at the tracks, the third rail humming with unspoken regrets. New York had taught me to stand my ground, but family? That was the real battlefield. The next few days blurred into a haze of client revisions and furtive texts with Luca. Our first date was coffee at his spot in Astoria, a hole in the wall called Bean Dream, where the espresso was strong enough to wake the dead and the pastries flaked like autumn leaves. He showed up in a button-down rolled to the elbows, quoting Tennessee Williams over cappuccinos. We're all sentenced to solitary confinement inside our own skins. I laughed, spilling foam on my jeans. Deep for a first date. You always this philosophical? Or is it the caffeine? Only when I'm nervous, he admitted, his knee brushing mine under the tiny table. Haven't clicked with someone like this since. Well, ever. We walked the waterfront after, the East River glittering under a relentless sun, ferries cutting wakes like promises. He told me about his play, a queer retelling of Romeo and Juliet set in modern Queens, where the families feud over gentrification instead of feuds. It's about love that defies maps, he said, hand slipping into mine as we dodged joggers. Borders we draw ourselves. My heart did that stupid flip, the one that says, careful, this could hurt. But I leaned in anyway, our first kiss tasting like sea salt and possibility, right there by the railing with the skyline mocking us from across the water. Back in Brooklyn that night, I packed a duffel for Jersey. The bus to Newark was emptier than usual, no bigots to stir the pot. Just me, a window seat, and the weight of what-ifs. Mom's house in Maplewood hadn't changed. The same wraparound porch, the garden gnomes she'd painted rainbow once upon a time, before I became the storm cloud over family photos. Carla met me at the door, her hug fierce. She looks frail, Alex. But she's fighting. Upstairs, in the room that still smelled of lavender sachets, Mom lay propped on pillows, her once vibrant curls now limp and gray. Her eyes, though, those sharp blue eyes, locked on mine with a mix of fear and fire. Alexander, she whispered, voice thin as tissue. You came. I did, I said, perching on the bed's edge, duffel at my feet like an anchor. Carla said you wanted to talk. She nodded, fingers twisting the quilt. I was wrong. About you. About the church, the neighbors, they filled my head with poison. But seeing you on that video. Video? I echoed, confusion knitting my brow. She fumbled for the remote, clicking the TV to life. There it was, shaky cell phone footage from the bus, uploaded to some viral TikTok account. Me standing tall, words calm but cutting. The caption, NYC Hero School's homophobe, must watch. It had millions of views, comments flooding in, king shit. This is why we march. Proud of you, Alex Rivera. My stomach dropped. How did you? Carla showed me. After the diagnosis, I started searching. For you. And I found this. Tears welled, spilling over. You were brave. Like I never let you be. The room spun. A whirlwind of pride and pain. I took her hand, fragile in mine. Mom, it's not about brave. It's about being me. And I forgive you, not because you deserve it yet, but because life's too short for grudges. We talked till dusk, words tumbling like leaves in a gale. Apologies, anecdotes, the ache of years lost to silence. By the time I left, the air felt lighter, like the first rain after drought. But as I boarded the bus back to the city, phone buzzing with notifications. Interview requests, Luca's missed you already. I couldn't shake the feeling that this lesson, this viral moment, was just the opening act. Evelyn Hargrove, the woman from the bus? Turns out she wasn't done with me yet. The video exploded overnight, turning my quiet standoff into a digital bonfire. By morning, my inbox was a war zone. Podcast invites from queer voices in LA, a features editor at The Advocate sniffing for an op-ed, even a talent scout from a Netflix docuseries on everyday heroes. I ignored most, nursing a hangover from too much hope and not enough sleep. Luca's texts lighting up my screen like fireflies. Saw the vid. You're a legend. Coffee round 2. We met at Bean Dream again. The baristas cheering when I walked in. Our viral VIP, handing me a free courte-du with a foam heart. Luca was at the corner table, script pages spread like a battlefield, his grin disarming as ever. So, Mr. Internet Famous, how's it feel to be the face of transit tolerance? I slid into the seat, stealing a sip of his Americano. Terrifying, like I accidentally auditioned for a role I didn't want. But, kind of validating, like maybe one rant changes nothing but a million views? That's a ripple. He reached across, thumb brushing my knuckles. It's more than that. It's you showing up. Authentically. His voice dropped, intimate. I wrote a scene last night inspired by it. 2 guys on a subway, one calls the other out on his biases, but it's tender, not combative. Think you'd read it? My pulse quickened. I'd love to, and I meant it. Luca wasn't just charming. He saw layers, peeled them back with questions that lingered. We spent the afternoon in Washington Square Park, him reading aloud while I sketched parkgoers. The chess hustlers with their predatory smiles, the buskers strumming Dylan covers, a pair of old queens holding hands on a bench, defying time itself. As the sun dipped, casting long shadows over the arch, he turned serious. My family's like that, he said, nodding toward the couple. Dad's a cop, old-school Italian, loves me, but the don't ask, don't tell vibe dies hard. Mom's the bridge, always baking Zeppole and quoting Maya Angelou. What's yours like now? Post-bus apocalypse. I hesitated, the Jersey visit still raw. Complicated. Mom's sick cancer. We had a breakthrough, but it's fragile. Like, forgiveness isn't a switch. It's a dimmer. He squeezed my hand. That's heavy. I'm here, though. Dimmer and all. That here pulled me in deeper. Our second kiss hungrier. Hidden in the park's alcove where ivy curtained us from prying eyes. New York has a way of making secrets feel sacred, even when the world's watching. Work that week was a circus. My boss, a fabulous non-binary creator named Riley, pulled me into a meeting. Alex, this viral gold? Let's leverage it. Pro bono campaign for the Ali Forney Center, shelter for LGBTQ youth. You lead design. I dove in, channeling the bus fire into visuals. Bold graphics of diverse faces on transit seats. Tagline, claim your space. Late nights at the agency turned into all-nighters with Luca, him typing dialogue while I mocked up spreads. Our feet tangled under the conference table. Then the backlash hit. It started with a DM. Faggot attention seeker. Hope your mom's cancer's karma. Blocked. Deleted. But they multiplied, trolls doxing my freelance site, review bombing the ad agency on Yelp. One night, scrolling in bed, a video popped up. Evelyn Hargrove, my bus nemesis, on a local Fox affiliate, tear-streaked and indignant. I'm a God-fearing Christian, just trying to get to my Bible study. She sobbed to the anchor. A slick guy with a predatory grin. This boy, Alexander something, humiliated me on that bus, called me scared, made me the villain. Now my job's threatened. My kids are getting bullied at school. All because I asked for a seat. The clip cut to grainy footage of the incident. My words edited to sound smug. Hers clipped to pure victimhood. Comments erupted. Fake woke. Cancel the bully. Deport the deviant. My stomach churned. This wasn't just noise. This was narrative warfare. Her turning my stand into her cross to bear. Luca found me at 2 a.m., pacing my apartment, phone clutched like a grenade. Babe, breathe. She's spinning it, classic deflection. But it's working, I said, voice cracking. People are eating it up. What if this tanks everything? The campaign, Mom's fragile piece. He pulled me down to the couch, arms a fortress. It won't, because truth has better legs. Let's fight fire with art. By dawn, we'd brainstormed. A response video, raw and real. Me addressing her not with anger, but invitation. Evelyn, if you're watching, this isn't about winning. It's about understanding. Coffee? My treat. Uploading it felt like jumping without a net. Views climbed. Shares from influencers like at Queer Eyes Tan France. This is grace in action. But Evelyn? Radio silence. Until a week later, when Carla called. Frantic. Alex, there's a woman at the house. Says she's from the news. Wants to talk to Mom about you. I raced to Jersey, heart hammering. Evelyn was on the porch. Not with cameras, but alone. Clutching a thermos like a peace offering. Mr. Rivera, she said, voice stripped of TV drama. I came to apologize. That interview, it was my agent pushing the sob story. But seeing your response, you offered coffee. I brought some instead. We sat on the swing, steam rising between us, her hands trembling as she spoke. I'm Evelyn, widowed, 2 boys in college. Grew up in Alabama where gay meant sin, full stop. Moved here for work, nursing aide at Mount Sinai. That day on the bus, I was late, stressed, saw your pin and panicked, like you'd contaminate the seat or something stupid. I sipped the coffee, Folgers, strong and bitter. It hurt, Evelyn, but I get panic. My own mom's still unpacking hers. She nodded, eyes down. My youngest, he's like you, asked me last year if he could bring his boyfriend home for Christmas. I said no, froze him out. After the video, he called, said if I couldn't handle you, how could I handle him? The swing creaked, time stretching. That's why I'm here. Your mom, Carla, told me about the cancer. I know loss, my husband went quick to leukemia. So, this is me starting over. No cameras. I looked at her then, really looked. Lines etched by laughter and grief. A woman unarmored. Apology accepted. And yeah, coffee's a start. But what about your son? She smiled, faint but real. Invited him over next week. With the boyfriend. Praying I don't screw it up. As she left, Mom watched from the window, her frail hand waving. You did good, Alex, she murmured later, over reheated lasagna. Teaching without preaching. But lessons cut both ways. Back in the city, Luca and I celebrated with rooftop pizza. The skyline a jagged promise. To ripples, he toasted, kissing my temple. Yet, as fireworks cracked over the East River, some early July preview, I felt a shadow. Luca's phone buzzed more than usual. Late-night texts he dismissed as playwright group. Trust is a fragile thing, built on buses and confessions. But betrayal? It rides shotgun, silent until the crash. Summer deepened, turning New York into a steam bath where dreams wilted and air conditioners wheezed like asthmatic dragons. The viral dust settled, my op-ed in The Advocate. Seats, souls, and the space between, garnering fan mail that warmed the cold spots left by trolls. Evelyn and I exchanged numbers, awkward check-ins evolving into a tentative friendship. Her sharing recipes for pecan pie, me venting about client divas. Her son, Tyler, even followed me on Insta, posting pics of him and his guy at Coney Island. Captions like, learning to ride the waves. Mom's treatments ramped up. Chemo at Sloan Kettering, days blurred by nausea and needles. I'd shuttle between Brooklyn and Jersey, Luca tagging along sometimes, charming Carla with his Williams quotes and helping Dad, stoic ex-cop, grill burgers without burning the yard. Good kid, Dad grunted one evening, flipping patties. Treats you right. It was the closest to approval I'd gotten. A thaw in the ice age of our history. Luca and I, we were in that honeymoon haze, where every touch sparks and silences stretch comfortably. Our third date was a picnic in Prospect Park. Him with a wicker basket pilfered from his nana, packed with prosciutto sandwiches and gelato that melted faster than resolve. We sprawled on a blanket amid frisbee games and dog chases, his head on my lap as I read aloud from his script. In the end, I voiced the character, a young immigrant lover. Love isn't a war to win. It's the truce we build, brick by bloody brick. Damn, Luca, this is gold. He propped up, eyes alight. You get it. That's why shit, too soon. He sat up fully, grass stains on his jeans. Alex, you're in it, the play, but also, Not like, "You're the muse I didn't know I was missing." My laugh bubbled, nervous joy. "Flattery and figs? You're dangerous." But his kiss that afternoon was anything but slow, sun-warmed, promising futures sketched in the shade of ancient oaks. Work hummed. The Ali Forney campaign launched with a bang, billboards blooming across bus stops like defiant flowers. Claim Your Space trended, youth center donations spiking. Riley high-fived me in the bullpen. "You're our secret weapon, Rivera. Got a rom-com pitch off this queer leads transit meet cute. You in?" Before I could answer, the betrayal blindsided me. It came via email, innocuous at first. A draft script from Luca's agent, forwarded by mistake to my work address. CC'd from his Gmail. I opened it out of curiosity, heart sinking as I scrolled. The protagonist? A viral activist, thinly veiled as Alex R. The noble gay hero schooling a bigoted nurse named Eva H. on a bus. But twists. The nurse's son is closeted, her redemption arc fueled by tragedy. A mother's deathbed plea, mirroring mom's cancer beat for beat. And the romance? A whirlwind with a playwright, ending in a tearful airport goodbye because fame fractures fragility. My hands shook, printing it out in the copy room, pages curling like accusations. This wasn't inspiration. It was excavation. My life mined for drama, Evelyn's vulnerability weaponized. Our raw edges filed into plot points without a whisper of consent. I confronted him that night at his Astoria walk-up, a cozy chaos of bookshelves and half-finished canvases. He opened the door mid-laugh, phone to ear, "Yeah, babe, wanna see?" Then froze at my face. "Alex? What's?" I thrust the pages at him. "This. Explain." He scanned, color draining. Oh God, the agent, he must've. I told him outlines only, not to. Bullshit. I cut in, voice steel despite the quake. "You wrote this. My mom's sickness? Evelyn's kid? That's not research. That's theft." Luca sank to the couch, head in hands. "I was protecting it. The play. After your video blew up, I thought, weaving you in would make it real. Immortal. Immortal." Laughter escaped, bitter. "You turned my pain into your Act 2 climax. Without asking. That's not love. That's exploitation." He reached for me, desperate. "Please, I can rewrite. Cut it all. It's just words." "Words are everything," I snapped, backing toward the door. "They're the only weapons we've got against the avails of the world. And you just shot me with mine." The door clicked shut behind me. The subway ride home a blur of fluorescent lights and regret. I ghosted his calls, dove into work, revising billboards till my eyes burned, visiting mom with forced smiles. She noticed, of course, her intuition sharper than scalpels. "Heart trouble?" she asked one afternoon, for dripping steadily as we watched Jeopardy reruns. I sighed, confessing in fragments. Her hand found mine, cool but sure. "Baby, betrayal's the tax on trust. But don't let it bankrupt you. Write your own ending." Her words echoed as I left, the turnpike traffic a snarl mirroring my gut. Back in Brooklyn, a package waited. Evelyn's pecan pie, note attached. Heard about the playwright drama via the grapevine. Small world, NYC. Pie fixes nothing, but it's sweet. Call if you need to vent. I laughed through tears, slicing a piece at my tiny kitchen table. The next day, I texted Tyler, "Your mom's a gem. Invite for coffee?" Three's company. We met at a diner in Midtown, vinyl booths sticky with history. Tyler was 20, lanky with his mom's eyes. His boyfriend Marcus, a compact bundle of energy and earrings. "Mom's been different," Tyler said, stirring sugar into black coffee. "That bus thing? She replayed your video 100 times. Said it was like a mirror." Marcus nodded, hand on Tyler's knee. "She's hosting us for game night now. Monopoly of all things. Calls it property line practice for boundaries." Evelyn arrived late, scrubs rumpled from a shift. "Traffic," she huffed, sliding in. "And this one's fault." She ruffled Tyler's hair, genuine warmth cracking her facade. Over eggs and hash we talked. Not the heavy stuff but the human, Bad shifts, worse bosses, the terror of first loves. You know, Evelyn said, pushing pie slices around. I owe you more than pie. That confrontation cracked me open, made me see my boy's not a phase. He's a person. I raised my mug to cracks. They let the light in. But light dims when storms brew. Mom's scans worsened. Mets to the liver, Doc's murmuring hospice. I quit dodging Luca, meeting him at a neutral bench in Central Park. Leaves turning early under October's chill. I'm sorry, he started. Script in hand, redacted. It was ego, not art. I thought capturing you would keep you. Stupid. I nodded, throat tight. It hurt because I believed in us. But maybe we rewrite together? Boundaries first. His eyes lit, cautious hope. Yeah. We tried coffee dates turned collaborations, his play evolving with my input. Less minefield, more map. Evelyn even beta-read a scene, chuckling at the nurse character's snark. That's me, all right? Sass and salvation. Climax crashed on a crisp November eve. Mom's vigil. Family gathered in her sunroom, monitors beeping softly. Luca at my side, Evelyn in the corner, invited by Carla, who'd bonded over chemo casseroles. As Mom slipped, her final words a rasped, love wins, Alex. The room held breath. After, at the funeral in Maplewood. Gray skies but umbrellas furled. Evelyn pulled me aside. She was proud. And me? I'm proud to know her son. Grief hollowed me, but community filled cracks. Tyler and Marcus crashing my couch for movie marathons. Riley greenlighting that rom-com script. Luca's, revised. Yet, under it all, a whisper. Was the lesson learned? Or lurking? Winter clamped down on the city like a vice. Snowplows growling through canyons of slush, while holiday lights strung false cheer across facades. Mom's absence echoed in empty bus seats and unanswered voicemails. Her quilt folded on my bed like a ghost insisting on presence. I threw myself into the rom-com project, now titled Seat Taken. Co-writing with Luca, our dynamic a delicate dance. Trust rebuilt one scene at a time. Apologies baked into revisions. Evelyn became family by default, her texts a lifeline. Boys' Thanksgiving was chaos, gravy explosion. Tyler's boyfriend's killer stuffing. You, I'd reply with pics of my feast. Take out dim sum with Jamie, her laugh cries emojis a bomb. But cracks spiderwebbed. Luca's agent pushed for drama. Lean into the betrayal arc. Audiences eat redemption porn. Luca resisted, but late nights, I'd catch him staring at old drafts, fingers hovering over delete. Just tying loose ends, he'd say, kissing my doubt away. The rom-com shoot wrapped principal in February. A whirlwind of green screens and improv gold. I played a cameo, the bus hero, naturally, delivering my line with a wink. Seats are temporary. Stories are forever. Premiere invites trickled in. Buzz building. Sundance whispers, glad nods. Then the leak. A week before the screening, tabloid fodder hit Gawker. Playwright's ex-muse sues over stolen storyline. Attached, court docs from Tyler, yes, Evelyn's Tyler, suing Luca's production company. Claims, defamation, emotional distress. The nurse character? Too close to Evelyn. Her redemption painted as coerced. Son's coming out twisted into a plot device that outed him prematurely to conservative relatives. My world tilted. Luca called frantic. It's bullshit. Tyler's agent is gunning for a payout. We changed names, details. I met Evelyn at her cramped Rego Park apartment, pie cooling on the sill. She looked wrecked, curlers in her hair, Tyler sulking in the kitchen. He didn't tell me, she said, voice ash. Went to a lawyer buddy, said it was justice. But this? It's tearing us apart again. Tyler stormed in, eyes red. You don't get it, Mom. That script mocked us, me hiding, you preaching. After all your progress. It felt like betrayal squared. I mediated, heart splintering. Tyler's right, it crossed lines. But suing? That's trading one hurt for headlines. Evelyn nodded, tears tracing familiar paths. I taught him to fight dirty. My fault. The climax unfolded at Sundance. Snow-blanketed Park City, a far cry from our gritty roots. Luca and I flew out, tension thick as altitude. The screening. Packed house, laughter rippling at our bus scene. Edited tender. My stand a gentle nudge toward empathy. Q&A glowed. This captures queer resilience. One critic gushed. Post-party. Champagne fizzing. Tyler cornered us in the lobby. Uninvited, but inevitable. Saw the film. Better. But the damage? My aunt disowned me. Said I shamed the family. Luca paled. I save it. Tyler's voice broke. Alex, you're the only one who gets it. You faced down my mom, and turned enemy to ally. But him, he jabbed at Luca. He profited off our mess. I pulled Tyler aside, cold air slapping us outside. Betrayal's a cycle, kid. Luca messed up big. But ending it with lawsuits? That's letting the bigots win. They thrive on division. He deflated, snowflakes melting on his lashes. Then what? Forgive, not forget. Forgive. Write your own script. Back inside, Tyler withdrew the suit next morning. Press release framing it as amicable resolution, focusing on healing. Headlines shifted. Queer creator drama ends in unity. But unity's illusion when foundations crack. Luca and I fought that night in our cabin. Words flying like avalanches. You still see me as material, I accused, packing my bag. Not partner. That's not. He grabbed my arm, desperate. I love you, Alex. Flaws and all. Love isn't enough if it's possessive. I walked out, Uber to the airport, heart a blizzard. Spring thawed the city, cherry blossoms mocking my frost. I moved through motions. Agency promotions, Evelyn's game nights, now sans Tyler, who decamped to Marcus's in Harlem, rebuilding bridges slow. Jamie dragged me to brunches, accidental setups with cute baristas. You're too good for playwright drama, he'd say, winking. One rainy April afternoon, bus to Jersey for Mom's memorial stone unveiling. Granite etched with love winds. I spotted her. Evelyn, boarding mid-route, thermos in hand. Mind company? She asked, sliding beside me without weight. Never. We rode in companionable quiet, rain streaking windows like tears. At the cemetery, under budding oaks, family gathered. Carla dabbing eyes, Dad stoic with a single rose. Evelyn hung back, but Mom's stone drew her forward. She'd have liked you, I said, gravel crunching. Mutual. She placed a pecan whole, symbolic. Alex about Tyler. He's coming around. Blames the industry, not us. I nodded, throat tight. Luca's play opens next month. Invited me. Going? She smirked. Front row. For the pie's sake. The opening night was electric. Off-Broadway house packed. Lights dimming on a set evoking New York veins. Buses, benches, bridges. Luca's script, honed by fire. The bus scene raw but redemptive, nurse and activist forging fragile alliance. No cheap twists. Just humans hashing humanity. Curtain call, he scanned for me. Our eyes met, applause thundering. Backstage, amid flowers and hugs, he pulled me into the wings. You came. Couldn't miss my lines. Awkward laugh. It's beautiful, Luca. Honest. Forgive me. Whisper, hand on heart. Not yet, but maybe soon. Summer circled back, heat waves and pride prep. Tyler reconciled with Evelyn over rooftop BBQs, Marcus grilling veggie skewers. Jamie set me up with a sound designer named Nate. Kind eyes, no skeletons. First date. Bus tour of street art. Ironic nod. But Luca lingered, a pull like gravity. One August Eve, post-Pride March. Rainbows rioting through Midtown, he texted. Bus stop? One ride. I went. We boarded the queue, same route, seats side by side. No words at first, just city pulse. I'm sorry, he said finally as bridges loomed, for taking your story. I get it now. Space isn't claimed. It's shared. I turned, his face soft in dashboard glow. Lesson learned. Tattooed. Grin, tentative. The bus stopped. We didn't move. Second chance? He asked. I leaned in, kissed tentative as thaw. Third, maybe, but seats are earned. Fall foliage painted the burrows in fire, a fleeting glory before winter's grip. Luca and I rebuilt cautious dates layered with check-ins. How's this feel? Over walks in the High Line, where rusting rails whispered second acts. His play toured Philly, Boston. Me tagging along for weekends, sketching posters in hotel rooms that smelled of fresh linen and possibility. Evelyn's life bloomed too. Promoted to charge nurse, Tyler enrolling in theater at NYU. Inspired by you heathens, he joked, Marcus rolling eyes fondly. Game nights expanded me, Luca, the boys, even Jamie crashing with his latest flame. Pies multiplied. Pecan, apple, a disastrous key lime that glued our teeth but glued us closer. Mom's one-year marker hit gentle. A backyard gathering in Maplewood. Lanterns floating like fireflies, Carla toasting, to the fighter who taught us love's the ultimate comeback. Dad pulled me aside after, beer in hand, voice gruff. Your mom's watching, kid. Make her proud, don't settle. I hugged him fierce. The man who'd once averted eyes now meeting mine square. Won't, Dad. Back in the city, conflicts simmered low. Agency drama. Riley poached by a rival firm, leaving me interim lead, daunting, exhilarating. Luca's agent bailed post-scandal, but a new one signed, queer rep with a Rolodex of inclusive gigs. Your story's currency, she said over Zoom. Spend it wise. Betrayal scar itched though. A late-night call from Tyler. Found old drafts online, Luca's originals. Shared them with a blogger. Revenge porn for writers. My blood iced. When? Last week. Thought it was harmless. It wasn't. By morning, art sections blared. Theft in the wings. Playwright's stolen queer tale exposed. Luca's tour dates cancelled. Reviews tainted. He stormed my apartment, face thunder. Tyler's leak? After everything. I blocked the door. Call him. Talk. Don't torch. But he raged. Words venom. Everyone takes. Evelyn with her pity party. You with your viral ego. I'm done giving. The slam echoed. Our fragile rebuild crumbling. Alone. I texted Tyler. Fix this. Or lose more than drafts. He did public apology on his student blog. Youthful idiocy. Arts collaborative. I vandalized it. Backlash flipped. Sympathy for Luca. Gigs reinstated. Reconciliation came slow. Over coffee at Bean Dream. Full circle. I lashed out. Luca admitted, stirring absently. Scared of losing control again. Fear's the real thief, I said. But we're not its victims. We emerged stronger. Co-authoring a workshop for young queer writers. Claiming your narrative. Evelyn guest spoke on From Bus to Bridge Building. Her drawl disarming skeptics. Tyler facilitated Marcus handling tech with flair. Climax crested at Pride 2026. Floats thumping bass through Midtown canyons. Luca and I marched with the center's contingent. Rainbow capes billowing. Evelyn waving from the sidelines with a "Go, my boys!" sign. As confetti rained, he dropped to one knee. Not ring, but a sketch. Us on that bus, hands linked, caption our seat. Forever. Tears blurred it. Yes, I choked. But equal billing. The afterparty spilled into dawn. Bodies swaying to remixes of liberation anthems. Jamie toasted us sloppy. To lessons that stick, and loves that don't let go. Yet humanism whispers, no tidy bows. Mom's absence aches eternal. Evelyn's progress wobbles on tough days. Tyler navigates fresh heartbreaks. Betrayals linger like faint scars. Reminders to tread tender. But in the quiet after. Bus rides home. Luca's head on my shoulder. City lights smearing past. We find grace. New York, brutal and beautiful, taught me. Seats are fleeting, but the stories we share, they carry us home. And that, friends, is the lesson I'll never forget.